is Thursday, and I wish it was Friday. I don't know about you guys, but I seriously do. Wish we had like 4-day weeks and 3-day weekends all the time. Let me put my tweet out. Done and done. Okay, a few things to mention. We recently had an update, which happened on Wednesday, and according to the patch notes and from what I've been seeing from, I believe it was KDM, could be Peregrine, both of them are very active in responding to inquiries on Twitter and such. If you have unlocked your I can find the welcome window. Here we go. If you have reached day 340, Chua Welder, Style 1, if you have reached that day in your daily rewards and have claimed it, then as of yesterday, that means you will unlock some additional type of welders from the housing vendor. Oops. It is the Orin, the Draken, and the Mordesh versions, both male and female. Of course, you can't see them in the preview. The NPCs have hardly ever worked properly as far as preview goes, but the Orin ones, the Draken, and the Mordesh ones are now available if you've unlocked it. It's link to having unlocked that last welder from the daily rewards before you actually see those available in the vendor. So just a heads up for those of you that like to use those NPCs and have been waiting for your particular race to pop up, or have been wanting to complete your collection or whatever it is that you're looking for. That happened yesterday. Hey Poi and Tiki, good morning you guys. Okay, so the other thing is, it's not exactly housing related, but it is a pretty significant thing. We've been going through these daily rewards for nearly a year now. Maybe it's a year for some. I actually missed a few days due to illness, so I'm still busy catching up. But they did extend it from, I forget where they stopped. I think it was like 350. They have extended the daily login rewards to 365. And while folks may be wondering why didn't they just go ahead and add more past that, it looks like they're going to be trying out a new type of reward program, specifically tailored for signature players. Now, I don't know if they are later going to add some kind of a login bonus for those that aren't signature to continue on with the tradition of the daily login rewards. But these are specifically for signature membership players that will be available starting in October, and it's going to run through November and December. Each month, as long as you're a signature player, you will be getting some special rewards, including costume pieces. I saw some dies, mounts, pets, that kind of thing. So if you are a signature player, be sure and don't miss out on those goodies. I don't know the exact specifics as far as, I assume it's just as long as you log in at least once during that month, it will count. It doesn't say like you have to log in at a certain time or day or series of days or anything like that. It's just as long as you're a signature player, a paying player, then you get, access to these rewards. So that is a good thing. As far as additional bits, there are some new cosmic tier rewards. Let me see if I can pull that up. Was it on the pay window? Yeah, these here, I think. You can see I'm still working on getting mine up there, but they have added a level 7 apparently. Mine only goes up to 6. but 7 is apparently panda related. There's like a costume, a mount, but it also has a sky remodel and a ground remodel. Now, I don't have access to it. I don't know of anyone that has it at the moment, so that I can hop over and show you. But Moose did put out a video with some previews of that and the other things. So, check out on Twitter, or probably you can catch it on YouTube. Just look up Tier 7 Cosmic Rewards or Moose or whatever, and you should be able to find it pretty easily. They may have even added a link to it in the forums in a discussion thread, thanking Carbine for all these extra goodies. So just wanted to mention that for those of you that have been waiting for some of those things. I mean, Wildweave has been data mining items for, well, since the game's been out. So we see some of these things kind of in preview, and we never know when they're going to be released. And so this is a time to rejoice if you're into the panda stuff. I don't know when we might be seeing some additional fall type of decor. I don't know if it's just they're gonna wait until Shades Eve actually kicks off before they start introducing some new packs. Maybe they're gonna have some decor packs of the gourds and such again, available on the cash shop. I don't know, again, if they're going to introduce some new things, just repeat the old things. I don't know, but I expect it's going to be soon, because I think they said that it's going to start on the 19th of next month, so it's getting close, getting close. Okay, so we're back on Turnip's plot, and we're just going to kind of doodle our way through this morning until we are able to get into tomorrow, which is going to be the CBDC showcase. Now, I was contacted by Bones to let me know that the plot that I had said was closed yesterday, it has been open, so we will have 2 others. It'll be Poi's plot and Bones's plot for some additional fairy tale related bits. So it won't just be my junk, which is a big yay. I haven't heard from anybody else. I went and checked on my NA alts to see if anyone had left an in-game mail. I haven't gotten any tweets or anything else from anyone else. So I guess it's safe to assume it's just us 3. If by chance someone else would like to mention their stuff, please get that to me before tomorrow morning, because once tomorrow morning hits, we're going to be in and out and it'll be over, and we'll be moving on to other stuff. Of course, I will be announcing, I guess it'll be Monday, the new CBDC theme for October, and then from there we'll just be doodling with that. Now, I've already said that I'll probably keep working on bits here and on the theater. I figure probably the theater will be a good opportunity to kind of change out depending on the theme of the CBDC, or maybe the seasons or something with Winterfest coming up. Maybe I'll come up with a winter type. I'm not going to do Frozen or anything, but some kind of winter themed play that I could set up a scene for, that kind of stuff. But for now, it's going to be fairy tale related. So the latest things we were fiddling with were, of course, the dress sketches and the threads. I still need to link all these up together and push them into the wall. Excuse me. I've just been leaving them out for anyone that wants to come in and take a look, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this plot is actually open to the public. So if someone wants to come and take a look at like the mess that's actually behind the picture, just to kind of get an idea of when you're using items for these kind of little sketches, you have to kind of either anticipate that you're going to be sinking it into a pretty thick wall, or use a prefab home where you don't have to worry about it. Um, but I've been racking my brain trying to think of any other kinds of materials or tools or such that we could include in this particular build. Um, to represent or be part of sewing, tailoring, seamstress stuff. Um, the only other thing I could think of was maybe buttons and maybe an iron, like an ironing board and an iron on it. Excuse me. I think I've seen a few people put together some irons, usually using the, what is it, the anvil from like Osun, the Osun set. This has kind of got the perfect shape. It's like pointed on one end and then comes into a wider bit. So I figure what we'll see is if we can make some buttons. Now the buttons are going to have to probably be fairly oversized because when you get down into little details like the thimble, obviously that's way too big for any character's thumb, but you can't make it so small that it's like real size because it would just, nobody would notice it. At least this way, even at this distance, they can see there's something there, and maybe it'll kind of, jog their brain and say, oh, that's supposed to be a thimble. So the buttons we'll want to make fairly big, but not too big, but just something. So I'm looking to see which table I want to put them on. Probably this one, I guess. So buttons usually are round, but they don't have to be. They could be square. The main thing is you want like a solid color, typically, with 4 little holes to represent the places where you would loop the thread to attach them to whatever fabric you're adding them to. If you're wanting to go with buttons, like if you want to make like a jar of buttons, then you would need to go with something that's going to be relatively flat, like the Orin windows. Those would be probably good. I don't think I have any extras. Well, actually I do. I have some colorful ones and I have some orange ones. Orange ones probably work best. So, well, that was like huge. I'm going to leave it this size for now until we decide. Now for the little holes, normally I would say use the like vent tank or the upside down exile lamp, not lamp, post, because they're nice, they're round, and they're pretty dark. But if you're trying to keep it thin so that you could like have it actually several of them in a bowl or a jar or something, that might not be handy, convenient, or whatever. So you would need to think of something else that's also dark but flat. And I've been racking my brain trying to think of things that might work. The closest I could kind of come to was maybe the tires. Having 4 of those. Now it's going to have a bit of silver as well, so that might not be ideal, but I'm hoping it, just the concept will, I mean, if you look at it, someone will go, oh, that's this or that. So I'm going to place 2 of them down and get them spaced this way, the way I want. Now remember, this is really oversized, and that means if I reduce it down anymore, these are going to be super tiny, so they may not be visible except really up close. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now I've linked them together, and then I'm going to try and remember too, this particular surface is not flat. It is a little bit peaked in the middle. So as you position these, you may have to adjust the height to make them look right so that they don't look floaty. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. See, even at that distance, they pretty much disappear. So this may not be ideal. Okay, and then, who is this? Turnip. We'll just make a new one called button. And we'll add that, place the link. But now, like maybe for like a shop sign, this would work okay. Have to be pretty close. Maybe. Don't particularly like them sinking down so far. It just looks weird. It should be a solid black. Can't think of anything else that has that color that's actually flat-ish. So like if I reduce that down to like even half that size, you can see those really disappear. Even up close, it's like you can't see those bits until like right up on it. So that's probably not a good choice. Let's see if we can think of something else. I probably should have just left those so that I could position whatever new thing I wanted to use. What was the other thing I was thinking of? Not fire, it was, gosh, I can't even think what it was. Again, we just don't have a lot of, this is where those discs made from like just slicing off the top of a dome, that would work so much better. Can't use the dome even though it's kind of gray. I can use like the Cassian one to kind of be dark. Because again, a very small size, they disappear. It's just, at that small size, they're just really teensy tiny. Otherwise, I would probably use those. Just running through whatever I have in the crate to see if anything pops. Judge's hat maybe, or some really funny looking ovally. And it's going to disappear quite fast. Maybe if I use it upside down. The problem is it's so paper thin. It might not fit exactly right flat up against the item, but hopefully people aren't going to really notice that. Okay, let's link those up. Go back to the button set, which is turnip, button. We'll clear the tires, add the hats. Notice as I'm experimenting, I'm just using whatever I can. I test. So a lot of times I'll end up with things in my crate that I end up never using. I just test it and hope that it works okay. And if it doesn't, then I end up with a lot of extra junk. And that's probably another reason why I love working straight off of the housing vendor, because it's quick, easy. I don't have to like go, well, I got to craft a couple of these just to see if it works. And then later, if it does work, then I have to go craft a bunch more. Or have to grind up some items from a particular zone or something. That's, again, I'm all about convenience when it comes to that stuff. So, okay, so the hats disappear there, but they're kind of visible at that distance. So maybe that. The really giant button. But again, like if we want to add, like, make this a sign, seamstress sign or something, that might be the way to do it. Big O button. I hate these arrows not working the right way. And then you could like find different colors. I mean, we have the pink one that you could use, the pink window. Something along those lines. Turn it into a wallpaper and just make several of them. Something like that. I don't think this is going to really work for a decent size fits. I think that's too much tiny detail. So there goes that idea. Iron and ironing board. I guess we could work on that. Ironing board is kind of like, looks like a surfboard shape, and then it's got the crossed legs typically. Trying to think what we could use for that. I would probably just go for 2x4s myself. But that might be a little too, I mean, you want that triangle shape at the end, and that might be tougher to do with the 2x4s. It's possible. It's not that it's impossible. So maybe we'll try a couple of different versions just to see what works best. So first you want to start off with a size that you feel might work okay. Try about there. Now, clearly the height probably could be adjusted depending on your character. And I'm going to widen this up. I think 3 feels about right, maybe. And then I'm just going to replicate this up. And I need something about half that size, so and basically what I'm looking for is for it to hit like the mid part of the middle board. Mid part of the middle. Bring it to the top so I can see what I'm doing there. Again, I tend to eyeball. I'm sure there's probably an appropriate angle to use and that kind of thing. I'm not doing that. So I'll look and see. Okay, I'm kind of close to 25, so I'll probably just go ahead and put it at 25 just to make it easier, so that when I replicate it and put that one at the opposite, then it should be about the right fit. I'm going to bring this out to the front. I have the Indiana Jones song in my head. Is that weird? Triangle floors could work too. That was going to be my alternate idea, since we already have triangle pieces, but I wanted to show the 2x4s first. Okay, then this one I would go ahead and center it straight up, like so. And then just fill it up with other pieces of wood. And just adjust. Again, you could be really exact, thinking, okay, this one's at 22 and this one's at 23 and that one's at 20, 20, however you want to do it, whatever makes you feel comfortable. So that one was at, looks like 25 again. Let's just put it. It's a lot of pieces for a little thing like this, but again, if you have no pressure about like the core limit or whatever, then you can do it however you want. You can be as detailed as you like. Probably not even going to need that middle board now that I look at it. One more. I grab it and I'm going to put it up at the top. Now it makes a nice kind of interesting pattern, but I think it'll be better if I. So there's the general shape, and then for the leggings, I could use maybe the same thing that I used for the director's chairs in the dressing room. That would be the spade. You could use, since this is wood, you could go ahead and just use 2x4s again. You could use the mop. That would be an okay bit. Excuse me. The only thing that might be a little odd about the mop, whoops, totally closed that, didn't I? Is it's thicker on the one end than it is on the other. And I would want this to be the leg base. But then you wouldn't have a real good way of hiding the mop head. Like so, you'd have that sticking up. And I'd want it like this with the thicker end at the bottom. Granted, if you reduce it down to make it the right size, maybe you could get away with it, but or you'd have to thicken up the ironing board to kind of cover it. But if you do it this way, this will work too. It's just it looks kind of funny to me having that super skinny end, but it's doable. So we could do it like this. I'll just say 35 for that. And let's see. Making sure I get the leg positions right. Yeah, it's like, well, this shows like 2, and then it's got like some feet at the bottom. So again, I'm just kind of aiming for the middle. Put it right about here. something like that. And then it shows having the little prongs on the bottom for the support so it doesn't wobble over. And then with that, you could just use another 2x4 this. Like so. So now you have a little ironing board. For the other one, I would go with, like Jiki says, the triangle pieces. I'd start with the triangle. That'll give you the size of, well, let's just go Draken since we have that. Get it squared up and flat. Trying to make it about the same size. And then you would get the floors. Oops. Probably should have went with Exile since I had that handy. I think it's going to be perpendicular to that. Yeah. And notice the sizing is totally different. Just not quite. Something along those lines. And then just extend it however far you want. Probably 3 will work. Fewer pieces. Have it any color you want. You can double it up if you want it to be about as thick as the wood here is. And then do the same thing for this. Just use a different material if you want. Where'd that thing go? Oh, that's like totally not the right angle or shape or anything. Put it at yeah, that looks about the same. Just kind of getting it about the same there, and then turn it around. Like so. And then again, use some kind of a thingy on the bottom to make it look, it's got a support thing. Hey Faye, good morning. Glad you could join us. You can see how the mop is a little wobbly looking. Doesn't look very sturdy. If you want to keep the material the same, I would do it like this. I would rotate that so that it's flat. and just kind of angle it as best I could so that only a piece of it is showing. Oh, not the way I wanted it to go. I'll get it right here in a second. And then just replicate it for the other one. Now again, I could have made a set of it, but I didn't. Sometimes I find that a little extra troublesome. And of course, like why I say you could use any of the floors as a pattern, because usually ironing boards, they're kind of a metal, but they're covered with like a cloth type of thing, and some come with flower patterns and other stuff, so you don't have to leave it just the basic wood color. You could use anything of that sort. Anything flat, square, you could probably use books if you want a particular color. You're looking for something flat, any of the books will work. So then you have yellows and blues. Most of the floors are kind of all monotone color, grays and off-whites. So maybe that won't work for you, but and of course, depending on where you're putting it, if it's in your bathroom and you're already using the Cassian floor for the bathroom floor, then maybe using the Oran bits for the ironing board will help make it pop against that darker floor. That kind of thing, just throwing that out. Okay, iron. What can we use for the iron? Hey, Skyrus. I'm glad you could join. Now, again, I mentioned usually the irons that I've seen have been the Osun, I think it's the Forge. Let me see if I can show you on the shopper. I think it's Forge. Not that one, it's this one here, the anvil thing. This one, and maybe it's just that one. Or maybe I need to look up anvil. But it's got that little pointy bit. Yeah, here we go. This one here. I've seen a lot of folks use this. They just flip it over and it looks kind of like an iron. So it's a really good piece to use. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I stream. I've been streaming for over a year now, but I'm kind of a niche type of bit. I don't do the combat and everything, so it's just housing. So, and my hours are kind of funny, so that's part of it too. I think most streamers tend to favor the evening hours and the weekend, which is where I don't stream. So, but I appreciate it. Okay, so I would say probably the best place to start hunting for items that you might use as uh, an iron type of piece would probably be weapons, and the electronics, and maybe the cooking and barware might be a good spot. That's not to say that you won't find other things in other categories, but when it comes to mechanical stuff like appliances and things, I usually tend to go there first and see what I can dig up, and then when I start becoming desperate, then I go other places. Do you now? Well, be sure and feel free to direct them my way. We have a small, super small group here, but we're always happy to help out if anyone has questions, just want some feedback, or want to toss some ideas. If they're having trouble coming up with things, um, maybe they want to build a certain kind of structure and they're not sure what kind of pieces to use. This bunch is really good at brainstorming that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm looking for something that might. Okay, nothing there that I saw. Again, there's lots more things than just what's in the housing vendor, but I tend to stick to that because even a low-level player has access to these particular pieces. And I want to try and show them that they don't have to have all of the rating decor or the reputation bound decor, that they can come up with something. Now, I would love to use the hammer. The hammerhead would work really nice, but the problem is because of the board, I would have to find a way to hide the handle. But the hammerhead would probably work really nice if you're doing it on a countertop kind of style. That would work, I think. Did I just hit those? Oh, I just like repeated the whole thing. Oh gosh. The electronics. Thank you, Poi. Always handy with the commands there. I probably really should get in the habit of doing that myself, but I just never have. Shame on me. Nope, I don't see anything. Let me look. Maybe it'd help if I'm looking at a picture of an iron. And I know kind of what it looks like, but yeah, it's just pointing. That's got a funky handle on the top. That's just not. Let's see. Let's check out accents. And usually when it comes to these lists, I always start at the bottom. I don't know why. I probably, if I click off of it and then close it up and then call it back up, I have to travel down a shorter path if I've already gotten like halfway through the list. I think that's a good excuse. Has anyone ever used this thing? I think I used it once as an actual little uh, collectible on a shelf. Past that, never used it after that. I think it's a strange looking item. I know what it's supposed to be, but it never looks like that to me when I first glance at it. Now, if the hover barrow, the wheelbarrow that hovers, if that didn't have movement, I would probably use that. It's like the perfect shape, but it wiggles, so not exactly handy. I'm gonna toss that out for a minute. Again, I'm looking for items that I can use pretty much as they are, maybe covering up a few bits, but so that I don't have to have things sticking out the bottom. It's my main worry, I think. I'm gonna put that out too. Well, one thing about buying straight off of the vendor, though, you know that it was relatively cheap, unless you're actually just grabbing all sorts of renowned type of stuff. So even if you end up deleting it later, you know, it's not going to be that big a deal to get it back. Um, Again, that's one of the features on Katya's is she has that little cleanup thing where you can say anything under a gold, just get rid of it. Just kind of a quick empty. Unfortunately, that doesn't work for my mains crate anymore. I got all sorts of stuff that I don't want deleted. This might work, the bottom of this, but again, you'd have that whole head to deal with. But again, I'm thinking for those that have it on a cabinet or a thicker type of deal, that for sure, the bust, you know, you would want to look for the one that's like the least amount of junk that you have to hide. Like this one would be probably good, although it's a different shape. I really like this shape best. So like, we'll place that there for now. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Audio, I don't think there's anything there really. Bathroom. An iron out of toilet paper, I don't think that would work either. Beds, they're kind of clunky. Sure, I can go through that, no problem. I just did some of that yesterday, in fact. In fact, I accidentally overwrote one, and I'm going to have to do it again because I forgot to rename the file and just copied it right over, and it's like, no, not that, I messed it up. Maybe some books would work. Let's see. I want one that's not got a whole lot of weirdness, and let's just do that one. I'm just tossing out pieces that I think I might could use. I don't know if they'll actually work or not, but books, paper, building blocks. I'm sure there's probably some hover part pieces that could work. Which ones, I have absolutely no idea. There's like over 90 of them, so I don't keep that in mind as well as I should, I guess. But let's see. Like that has like a nice little corner bit you could probably use. I can like flip it over and it kind of looks like the end, sort of. I don't know. But those, I hate working with those things. I don't find them very convenient myself. I don't think any of the pillows would be very good. Seats and any other interactable furniture, usually I don't like to try and use those because they just are awkward. They light up. I even really hate using them just as they're supposed to be used because, again, they light up. I use them very sparingly. I think that's going to be the only ones that I'm going to give a shot with. Nothing else seems to be popping out, really. Oh. Okay, so like if you have a really thick table, you could probably get away with using this one here. Like so. Again, if you can hide it, that would be excellent, but clearly this is a little too narrow. And I don't want to thicken it up just by adding in multiple layers. That would take an incredible amount of pieces. Now, if I put it on this one, I might be able to do it with fewer pieces, but still, it'll be kind of awkward. Let me just get the hiccups now. Let me make it even smaller. Maybe that'll help a little bit. And then I can maybe position it right over the pole so the head is like in there. That helps a little bit, just to disguise it some. Because there aren't going to be a whole lot of people that do like me and like zoom around with my camera looking at all the bloopers. Most people don't do that, so you're pretty safe. Um, so there you have the basic bottom of it. Then you want some kind of a handle thing, and I figured this would probably work all right if we can get it down small enough. Almost like teapot handle. Probably work good for that too. So something like that. That's very simplistic. Again, you're just giving, a lot of cases you don't want to get too detailed. If you do, then it starts looking very complicated and it might not be as easily recognized. But if you keep it in simplified bits, handle and basic base of it, then it becomes, hopefully, they can recognize it right off. You could even go as far as like some of these have like a steam thing. You can maybe add a little bit of a steamy cloud or something. Maybe make it look like that. Add a spray bottle. Actually put some kind of a cloth item here, a towel, one of the folded shirts. Have a little table here that uh, you could use for when you're finished ironing. Have a nice stack of folded bits. Uh, do it like that. Don't know. Adding anything will help. Kind of suspect not, but yeah, just isn't, maybe, sort of. You got to add something extra. We'll just get rid of the book. I don't think the book will work really well. Okay, so Poy's asking about how to do the set pieces. When you're managing your sets, it has happened in the past to at least a few of us that when we update Katia's add-on, which I, by the way, have still not done, every now and then I'll see the update needed notation, but it will save all of your character sets. You can either save your sets per character, or you can make your own directories. Like, say you do a lot of furniture and maybe you've got some pieces on one alt, some pieces on your main, and some pieces on another alt, but you don't want to have to remember which alt has what. You could just do a special directory that just has your chairs in it, or just has your vehicles in it. If you're someone that's really into vehicles, you could even break that down into, okay, it's only water vehicles, only land vehicles, that kind of thing. I mean, you can break it however you want. And it's really handy that it's in game. It's easily accessible. I can say, okay, I remember I built some kind of table on such and such a plot. So I'll look on such and such a plot, and in that section, and say, oh, here's the piano Flower gave me. So I can grab that set again, and use it somewhere else. However, myself and like I said, a few others have experienced where sometimes something goes wonky and the sets are just wiped. Uh, if you don't prepare ahead of time, you have a chance of losing a lot of that. And it's especially worrisome if maybe, like, say you like to change out certain things in your plot based on the season, like specific holiday decorations. Like, for instance, on Turnip's plot, um, if I can try and show here. Uh, Turnip has this little cabin, and for Winterfest, I actually put some wreath decorations on the door, had some garlands along the edge here. I still have those sets. So if when Winterfest comes, I want to redecorate with those exact same decorations, I can just pop it out there by using the set. But if for whatever reason that character's sets got wiped, then I wouldn't be able to recreate it exactly the same. I'd have to just look at pictures I took and try and see about kind of fixing it back like I had it. Um, so the best way I have found to kind of confidently keep everything, and this is of course barring the hazard that you might, have your computer blow up, is what I do is once I make a set, so we'll just use the scissors as an example. I have that scissors on the table downstairs. Maybe I want to use it in a barbershop on another plot, or maybe I want to get rid of it for now, but later I might want to recreate it. What I do is there's the feature called sharing. You just open that up and it gives you that list of stuff. The sword, it basically tells the add-on the exact positions and arrangement that those pieces are put in. And all you do is make sure your edit mode is off, because if you click here and you have your edit mode on, it'll select whatever happens to be behind there, because it doesn't really notice that this is a solid panel. So you click it, left click it, I guess, just once. It highlights the whole bit. You do Control C for copy. You open up a Word document. I use WordPad. You could use whatever text file thing you find comfortable. Control V to paste it in. Name it. I have like a whole section. I've got clothes, I've got furniture, and then the furniture's broke down to chairs and tables and cabinets, and I've got food, anything you can think of. The only limitation that I am aware of is that this sharing, this export import feature, is limited to how many decor it will track. I think it's around 300. I'm not for positive on the exact number. So it's not like if I want to save this entire plot, if it happened to be 2,500 in and 2,500 out maxed out, it won't save that. It'll only save parts of it. So smaller sets are best. Like I said, furniture, pieces that you've put together. If you come across something that's more than it's able to handle, then I would suggest breaking it into sections. Like if you have, say, a couch that happens to be, 1,000 pieces, maybe do half of it and then the other half, and then when you import it, you'll have to mesh the two halves together. It's the best way I can say it. Like I said, I don't know the exact number that it caps at. I think I've done something as high as 260 something and have it work. But you can kind of tell if it grabbed all of the code, because it'll end with two of those, I don't know, it's not the straight brackets, but the little curly Q brackets. It ends with that. Two of them, a comma, and then a closed one. And that's always the end. It looks always the same. So just take a small set and you can see what I'm talking about. It's just those three. It always ends with those 3 bits. Once you have a set, so like we have the scissors, it's here in game, it's saved. hunky-dory. If later I decide to either remove it myself or it gets wiped by some horrendous blurb, I can always grab it from the Word document and bring it back in. The way I do that is, let's say, okay, I don't want the scissors anymore. I think it's an ugly design or whatever. Basically, you just say remove. So now scissors is gone. Nowhere in the list. But say later I go, no, I shouldn't have got rid of it. I need it back. All you have to do is select whatever directory you want it in, whether it be a character or a special directory that you set up for it. Then you say scissors. You add it by hitting new because you want a new set. And then you copy that particular code from the Word file. Then while you have the set selected, you hit the share, and it'll have this little blurb of stuff. Just click it once to highlight it, and then Control V to paste. Then you hit import, and voila, the set is back in. Very easy, very handy, very useful, especially if you're wanting to share your sets with other people. Say Poi is dying to have the scissors or really wants one of those spools of thread for a particular plot. She could say, can you give me the set? I would, set it up, give her the code, or I could go in as a roommate and do it for her. It's either or. But this is a really quick and easy way of making sure that whatever set you don't definitely want to lose, you can have an extra, like a backup way of saving it. Like I said, it's just a plain old Word document, WordPad, Notepad probably works, any of that. So I hope that made sense. Again, if you're kind of confused about how to use this new set manager thing, Noriak has a really handy updated tutorial on how to work it. He tries to keep up with a lot of the features, new and old alike. He does the basic features, but he also gets into some of the more advanced uses, which is very helpful, especially to those of us that have been using Catius for a long time, but just didn't use it in the way he does. Because Catius is great for making staircases and interactable type of features and things like that. So, but if you want me to go over really quickly, basically, when it comes to making a new set, let's just pretend it's new. And let's pretend this is completely empty up here. You don't have anything there. This is your first character. It has no sets. It's the first time you're using the feature. Basically, what you do is, let me see if I can find a simple set. We'll just use the dress thingy. You type in a name for the directory you want. You have to have a directory first before you can add a set. So let's say we're going to call it doodads. You add new directory, and that gives you the doodads. Then we'll say the dummy, the dress dummy. We're going to add that to the doodads directory. So now we have doodads with the dummy in it. Then you link all your items up as you normally would, and then add that linked set. Notice the doodads is highlighted first. That shows the program where I want the set to go in. Then once the set name is set up, make sure that's selected, and then you add the linked set, and voila. And then forever that will be there unless something goes wonky, but again, you would do the sharing, copy it, paste it into a deal, and you have it whenever you need to, that kind of thing. I hope that helps. So if you want to remove that, you just say remove, You want to remove the directory, you just hit remove directory. Very easy peasy. You can clean it up. There's a lot of sets on here. I probably don't even know what they are. Um, one thing I like about the new system is it does require you to name it. Um, it gets me out of the habit of not naming a bunch of stuff. There's probably, well, I kind of cleared hers up. Let's see. Yeah, like this one is like 0, 5. Those are unnamed ones, so I have no idea what they are. Looking at the list, I couldn't tell you what that is. There's a lot of graded floor plans. I think it's the cabinetry for the kitchen in his place, but I have no idea. But this system, the way she's revised it, you know, this was imported old stuff from before this new uh, revised version of the set manager come out. Now that it's out, it actually forces you to name it. So it's a little bit more organized and hopefully uh, more convenient for a lot of people in keeping their stuff organized and everything. But like I said, you don't have to do it by character. I just happen to leave it that way. Like I said, if you have a lot of specific types of decor that you custom build, like furniture, and you want to have a section that just covers chairs, uh, that would be a way to, you know, set up a directory just for chairs, and then in your sets, you know, say be specific about what kind of chair. This is the white picket fence chair. This is a chair made out of, you know, oran fences or a wooden chair, or you know, however you want to name it, just so that you know what it's supposed to be. Because one thing it doesn't come with is a way to like have a screenshot or anything like that. So that's probably something you can maybe add in your document, maybe. If it's one of those that allows pictures, then you could actually put in a little screenshot so that you can see what it is. But usually if I just name it like white picket fence chair or um, red moon bed, then I already kind of know what it is. Because one, I haven't built that much furniture that I can't remember, but it's just enough of a piece of little trigger to kind of remind me what it looks like. So yeah, I think that covers it. Is that I hope that answers your question? If you're asking for something else, just clarify because I just kind of rattled on and I'm not sure if that's really what you were asking or not, but I think so. But yeah, I use the add-ons a lot, but not to their full extent. I still do a lot of things by eye, by hand, um, just out of probably laziness for one, and another, it gets me kind of nervous, like the linking. You'll see me put something together, like these ironing boards. None of it's linked. If I want to link it, I'd probably hope that I could just get away with like grabbing a few items and say just link together that, or I would just click it individually and link it. But there is an actual feature, I think we mentioned it yesterday, that you can have it auto link. You basically, I think you target the parent, select that, and then hit the auto link button, and then anything you add after that will automatically be linked to that parent item without you having to do anything to it. There's other ways to work it so that like when you're building upstairs, it does that for you as well, even as you're moving it and repositioning things. But I get nervous using that stuff because sometimes I've had it link things I didn't want it to, and I forget to turn it off, or you know, just confusing stuff like that. And it's easier for me to do it more or less by hand or very confined. Like I have a lot of 2x4s being used as the materials here. So if I want to link this one together, what I'd probably do is grab one of the boards. I'm using Laments for the linking, not Katya's. I like Laments more for that. And I'm using the radius, but you can see the blue line. That tells you within that radius, anything within that radius gets links to this if I just say link decor. I only want to link the 2x4s, but I don't want to include those in the tables. So what you would do is just reduce the radius so that it's just in this vicinity. You say link, and it should light all of these up. So the only thing I'm missing is the iron and the 2 legs. So then it's just a matter of a few clicks of adding those to that set. Like 5 stray pieces. Voila. Now it's a whole set. Now if it's just this here that I want, rather than having, I could just say link all light decor and just grab the 3 floors. It's just a few pieces, so you could theoretically just click and link, click and link, click and link. But if you want to do it quickly, you can select the one, they automatically link nearby decor, reduce the radius to a reasonable amount. It should catch. Remember, it should be the radius this way as well. So it should catch these at the bottom. Make sure that's not selected, so it'll grab anything within this radius, whether it's a floor, a hammer, a book, whatever it is. Hit link, and it should grab all those pieces. The only problem with this one, if you're not doing light decor or you have a lot of light decor that is really close proximity, is, you tend to grab things you don't mean to. I've done that in houses, custom built. I'll sometimes accidentally link a wall that I don't want, or pieces of a nearby set that I didn't realize the radius included, that kind of thing. So sometimes, that's one good reason why using a tester plot is handy, especially if you're not using any items that you can't get off of the vendor. You can kind of practice with the build. So say this is on a different alt, I could build the set and maybe that's the only thing that's there. It's really easy to grab it and then bring it over to a different plot where it may be a little bit more crowded. That's the only thing. But for those that don't use the add-on, it's still possible to link. I mean, not the big add-on, but if you don't want to use that whole radius thing, you're nervous about picking up something you don't want, just do it individually. That works too. Again, notice I'm using laments. I'm not using Katya's. For some things, I find Katya's more convenient, and for others, I really like laments. I think laments is handy because it auto pops when I select an item. It automatically comes up. Unlike Katya's, I have to type in /Katya every time I want to open it up. And I don't like leaving it up because, I like looking around. Now, I think there's actually a way that I can get this to not show, but I think I use that more, even though technically Katya's has one of those built in as well. I never use it. It's the decor editor. This is her version. It's the same thing, but it's set up differently. And there's special little things like, I don't know if you can hold the shift button to move it in smaller increments or something. But I don't work well with these doodads very much, so I never open that up. But if you find that handier than having multiple windows open, that's good for you. Let's see, I forgot this part. There we go. Okay, so I think we're going to call it for today. It's a bit of a short one, but I've got some things I got to take care of outside the game, unfortunately. Real life doesn't take care of itself, so got to tend to it. Remember, tomorrow we'll be doing the CBDC showcase, so we'll be going over some of the stuff you've already seen for my junk. A few things that are new. I've been working on Parsley's plot, where the theater is, dressing up some new things. not all fairy tale related, but it's related to theater, which is brought about because of the fairy tale stuff. Um, but we'll also be visiting Poise, Alt's Plot, and one from Bones as well. Those are the only two that I know of that's actually put something together for the CBDC. So excited to see what they've come up. I haven't seen either one's work yet. I may be dropping in this evening or tomorrow morning early to grab some screenshots for when we post about all the stuff that we see. But I'm looking forward to seeing how everything turned out. It's going to be fun. And of course, Monday, I will be announcing October's theme. And hopefully you guys like that and willing to participate. If not, I will be spending the month doing it myself. No biggie. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you come to join us tomorrow. If not, I hope you have a great weekend. Again, appreciate all of the follows, the tweets, the retweets, the hosting. If you happen to feel like hosting, that's always welcome. And of course, the votes and just the general support, the chatter, folks coming in and having a chat with us, talking questions, uh, suggestions, that kind of thing. I always appreciate and enjoy that kind of interaction. So it's always a good thing. Not as detailed as my, well, that's okay. As long as it's something, I'm just looking for somebody to do something. So it's not just my stuff. It feels so weird always talking about my junk. And mine's just kind of to get us through the weeks, the normal days. But, tour day and CBDC showcase day, that's all about you guys. That's what I want to show. So yeah, thanks guys for joining, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.